fellow golfers. Mike Dero here in Paradise, Quail Creek, Naples, Florida. And the question asked of me today was, why should I hit a fade or a draw? What's the advantages of hitting one or the other? And should I try to learn the other one? And that's a great question. The answer, I'll try to keep it simple, but that's hard for me to do. Okay, a couple sayings first of all. You should dance with the girl you brought to the dance, or to dance with her. The other one is, you can talk to those fades, but hooks don't listen. Okay, so what do those two mean? Okay, if you have a natural fade, so when you hit a good shot, your ball goes slightly left or right. I'm going to say it's because your chest rotates slightly more than your arms do. So when you rotate more than your arms, it'll fade. Conversely, when you play golf, if you rotate your arms, you can see them here rotate more than my chest, I will tend to hit a draw. Okay, there's a lot of other factors, strength of grip and how much you spin and where your chest is and all that. But basically, a draw is more club face roll than chest. A fade is more chest spin than club face roll. Which one has an advantage? Well, you'll hear your friends say you should learn how to hit a draw. It's fun, and they might go a little farther because the club face is closing, but they can also dive into the water, they can get a lot of trouble, and it's probably harder to reproduce. Okay, so if you hit a natural draw, more power to you. What you should work on is trying not to use too much muscle in your arms. So I would ask you, if you were hit a draw of the ball, be natural, be loose, and make sure you turn and pivot the same every time so that these beautiful arms that gave you a draw can reproduce. That's what I would say to a drawer. Get your hip back here and try not to spin too much. Now, if you're a fader of the ball, okay, what you just don't want to become is a weak cut. So what's the difference? Jack Nicklaus was a power fade. He turned his back a long way, drove his knees, and when he hit, he was in there, and he called it a power fade. So it's beautiful. So if you're hitting a fade, I'd recommend that you try to work the ball back to straight, but it's okay if it cuts a little. So a soft baby fade would be a good phrase the tour would use. Okay, a buttery soft cut. Okay, so what you're going to want to do as a fader is work to your strength. Your eyeball sees the ball going left, right. You get to aim down the left side. Your watch outs are don't get too open. If you get too open, what I mean by your chest aiming left, now your fade's going to get worse, because if you get too open, you're going to think you turned and all you did is get back to the starting point for someone else. But you think you turned a long way. So I would put my chest on the ball. As a person who hits a fade, I'd make sure I get my shoulder back. Okay? If you can get your back to the target and still hit a fade, you're going to hit a power fade. Okay? As long as you don't do this. Get your back to the target and then just totally spin. Okay? This is going to hit a fade. Look where my chest is versus that line. But if you get your back to the target and then move this way and hit, you're going to hit a power fade. So as long as your fade doesn't get worse, the other thing, if you hitting a fade, make sure you have a strong enough grip, because if your grip is too weak, you'll hit soft fades. So get a little stronger grip, turn your thumbs a little to the right, and try to hit it a little straighter. Okay, okay to hit that little fade. By the way, the long drivers in the world, in the championships now, are hitting a power fade. They used to try to hit a draw for extra 5 yards, but now they're finding this. By the way, they're big, strong behemoths now, but they turn their backs as far as they can, and then they drive their bodies, and they get to the ball like this. And you've seen them. They pop really hard into their legs, but they're crushing the ball, 340 in the air with a fade, or 360 in the air, or 400 if it's downwind. So fades aren't necessarily shorter as long as they're power fades. What does that mean? Get your back loaded, move your legs, and get over here. The picture I want you to see is this. This is a nice position. Again, if you get to this position, hands in front of chest, hips 20 degrees open, that's a good fade position. Okay, but if you get there like this, and your hips are way over here and your hands are back here, you don't have any strength back here. So, as a fader, try to get your hands back in front of your chest a little more, and you'll hit a power fade, and you'll be able to play that around the golf course, and you'll shoot lower scores with your fade. And there's nothing more dependable than the person that knows every time I swing, my hips get there first, my chest gets there second, my hands get there third, and my club head gets there last, and I hit a little baby fade. You can aim down the left side, it cuts back to the center, and you can count on it. A lot of tour players have won with that shot. So don't Don't go bad on your fade. If you can do it, play it. Just make sure it's not a weak fade. Make sure you turned your back, moved your legs, and get your hands back in front of you. Play that fade. But if you hit a draw, love your draw. It's beautiful. Most drawers of the ball get to release their arms and they get to use their softer muscles instead of the tight muscles. So find the shot that fits your brain, shot shape, and golf course, basically tempo, and then enjoy it. They say, find a shot you can hit, spend the rest of your life perfecting it. Thank you.